In the heart of New York City, tucked away on a quiet, tree-lined street, resided a modest apartment building. It was the kind of place where time seemed to slow down, offering a sanctuary from the bustling chaos of the city outside. On the top floor of this building lived an elderly gentleman by the name of Mr. Williams. He was a retired literature professor who had dedicated his life to the pursuit of knowledge and understanding. His apartment was a testament to his lifelong passion, with bookshelves lining the walls, each holding countless volumes that whispered stories of ages past. One day, while sorting through some old boxes in his attic, Mr. Williams came across a peculiar wooden box. The box was ornately carved with enigmatic symbols that seemed to dance in the dim light filtering through the attic window. Curiosity sparked within him. He brought the box downstairs and placed it on his antique desk in his study. As he examined the box, he noticed a small inscription on its surface. The inscription read, "Open me when you are 86. Intrigued and slightly apprehensive." Mr. Williams checked the date on the box. It was his birthday today. He turned 86. With trembling hands, he began to open the box. The lid creaked open, revealing a faded photograph and a single key. The photograph showed a young woman with a radiant smile, her eyes twinkling with life. There was something about her face that tugged at Mr. Williams's heartstrings, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. As he lifted the key, its jeweled texture sending a jolt of electricity through his fingertips. He felt a sudden surge of energy, sense of purpose, something he hadn't felt in years, course through his veins. He looked at the photograph again, noticing for the first time the faint outline of a door in the background. In that instant, he knew the key fit into the puzzle of his past. And the door in the picture represented not just a physical entryway, but a doorway into a forgotten chapter of his life. The worn key felt heavy in Mr. Williams's hand as he stood before the weathered wooden door. The door, which had been concealed behind a tapestry for decades, now loomed before him, beckoning him to uncover its secrets. Taking a deep breath, he inserted the key into the keyhole. As the key turned, the lock clicked open and the door swung inward, revealing a spiral staircase concealed beneath the floorboards. The air grew cold, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and something else, something inexplicably familiar yet distant. With a mix of apprehension and excitement, Mr. Williams descended the creaking stairs. Each step echoed in the sudden silence of the space, amplifying his heartbeat. At the bottom, he found himself in a dimly lit chamber. The room was circular, its walls adorned with arcane symbols that seemed to writhe and twist in the flickering light. In the center of the room stood an old, unlatched iron chest. Its surface was etched with the same enigmatic patterns seen on the walls, forming a language that was both alien and strangely alluring. As Mr. Williams approached the chest, he noticed a small indentation on its surface. It was a keyhole. His gaze fell upon the key from the box, realizing it would fit perfectly into the chest's lock. With trembling hands, he inserted the key. It turned with a soft click, and the heavy lid of the chest creaked open, revealing stacks of yellowed letters and a leather-bound journal. The letters were tied together with faded ribbon, their envelopes sealed with wax. The journal lay open to a page filled with spidery handwriting that danced across the lines. As he carefully lifted the letters, one slipped from its grasp, fluttering to the ground like a fallen leaf. It bore no stamp or postmark, only the name Eleanor scrawled on the front. With bated breath, he broke the seal and unfolded the letter. The script was elegant, penned by a hand no longer able to form such delicate curves. The letter was from Eleanor to Mr. Williams, dated a lifetime ago. In that moment, the fragmented memories coalesced. Eleanor was his childhood sweetheart, a love lost to the sands of time. He remembered the day she left, the tears, the promises to never forget. And then there was the mystery of her disappearance, a void in his past that had never been filled. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, Mr. Williams delved deeper into the contents of the chest. Among the letters and documents, he found a small silver locket. Its surface was engraved with the same intricate design that had become a recurring motif. As he opened the locket, he discovered a miniature portrait of a young woman with haunting green eyes. It was Eleanor, but there was something more. Tucked behind the portrait was a tiny key, no bigger than his thumbnail. He took the key, feeling its coolness against his palm. The realization struck him like a thunderbolt. This wasn't just a key. It was a symbol of a connection that transcended time, a bond that death itself seemed unable to sever. He looked around the room, his gaze landing on a loose stone in the wall. With a gentle nudge, the stone shifted, revealing a narrow slit. It's a perfect size for a tiny key. As he inserted the key, it turned effortlessly. A faint click echoed in the chamber, and the wall slid open, revealing a passage concealed behind the stone. A musty smell wafted out, mixing with the scent of old paper and ink. His heart pounded in his chest, a drum solo in the orchestra of his being. Curiosity, that eternal flame that had guided his academic pursuits throughout his life, now drove him forward into the unknown. He stepped into the passage, which was just wide enough for him to squeeze through. The air grew colder as he moved deeper into the earth, the sound of his own breathing echoing around him. The tunnel opened into a vast cavern, its ceiling lost in the darkness above. In the center stood a massive iron gate adorned with the same enigmatic symbols that had become a part of his waking dreams. He walked towards the gate, his footsteps echoing in the vast space. As he reached out to touch the gate, it shimmered, as if responding to his touch. The symbols seemed to writhe and twist, forming patterns that shifted and changed. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, the vision vanished, leaving him standing alone in the musty cavern. He realized that the true treasure wasn't gold or jewels, but the rediscovery of his past, the unraveling of a mystery that had lingered for decades. He had found the shadow behind the door, a metaphor for the hidden truths that sometimes lurk in the most unexpected places. As he made his way back through the labyrinth of tunnels and rooms, the weight of his discovery settled upon him. He emerged from the secret passageway beneath his apartment floor, blinking in the sudden brightness of the attic. The wooden box lay open on the table, its purpose now fulfilled. The letters, the journal, the locket, they all became fragments of a mosaic, painting a vivid picture of a love story that had defied the boundaries of life and death. The old man smiled, his heart lighter than it had been in years. He understood now that the greatest adventures aren't always about distant lands or mythical creatures. Sometimes they're about the journey of self-discovery right beneath our noses. The secret passage remained hidden, known only to him. The attic returned to its dusty solitude, the only witness to the drama that had unfolded within its four walls. Mr. Williams, however, was changed. He saw the world with new eyes, his heart brimming with the echoes of a love that had endured the test of time. And so the tale of the shadow behind the door became a part of his legend, a reminder that the most profound mysteries are often intertwined with the simplest of joys, love, and remembrance.